park, and garden trees make cities more livable by providing beauty, shade, and animal habitat. These trees moderate temperatures, control runoff, and provide erosion control. Studies have shown that the presence of trees in urban areas increase psychological well-being, lower crime rates, and increase property values. When urban trees need to be removed because they have become hazardous, or when trees are blown down by storms, these trees often become part of the waste stream. At the same time, wood for construction or wood for woodworking projects is imported into urban areas from faraway forests.
The whole thing in an urban environment, trees have to interact with people, buildings, property. It's generally you have to think of it as a managed environment. This is not a natural. It's not like tree companies go into a pristine forest land and are taking out trees. A good example is actually a redwood we took out last year. The owner, it was a little bungalow in Berkeley, and the owner, when she was 5 years old, planted this redwood tree next to this little arts and crafts bungalow with her mother. And the tree, now being 50 years old, was starting to encroach on the house and had to be removed. Now redwoods in their natural habitat want to be 30 feet wide and 300 feet tall. So it really, at some point, becomes a question of whether it's the house or the redwood. So that's why, and of course, trees have a benefit beyond lumber, and you want to keep trees as much as possible. But there are good reasons for removing trees and replacing them with trees that are more appropriate for a specific environment.
Okay. The urban forest is more species diverse than the natural forest. Here in the San Francisco East Bay area, the mild climate allows us to grow trees from many parts of the world. Urban trees greatly vary in shape and structure as they are exposed to more light than forest trees that tend to grow tall and slender. These variations are defined as weaknesses by traditional large-scale logging operators, but are perceived as strengths by local woodworkers who look to bring out the unique beauty of individual pieces of wood.
Local arborists, and like these pieces of cedar, there's a couple pieces of cedar here, and then some of it I get from, and this is some birch here that's spalted. And some of it I get just from friends' wood shops. There's chunks of wood lying around. And the nice thing about the kind of turning I do is I turn green wood. So I don't turn wood that's been milled and cured. It's all sort of straight off the tree. So most of the wood, all of the wood that I work with is free for that reason, because most of it's just going to be disposed of anyway. If I found this piece of wood on the street, I would feel so lucky. And part of the reason I would feel lucky is because it does have this crotch area. So, if you take a chainsaw to it and chop this limb off and this one and, make it into a...
At the customer level, there's interest at the retail level, there's interest at the design and craft level. As far as demand, but they're not connected to each other, so they don't know where to source the wood. They don't know where to find it, and then there's a lot of confusion about the characteristics and quality of the kind of lumber that you would find. Now there's a big movement for buying local and local sourcing, but it is more on the trend level and hasn't, except in food and urban agriculture, it hasn't developed very far in terms of the economics.
Eucalyptus trees dominate many open space areas across the East Bay. The majority of these trees were brought from Australia in the early 1900s.
The darker tone is redwood, which of course everyone's familiar with. And then inside we have floors that are made of blue gum eucalyptus, which is probably the most commonly removed tree in the Bay Area, simply because there's so many of them.